Real estate market collapses in first-tier cities, leaving millions of homeowners in debt. Netizens share their struggles with shared electric bikes. Strange disease appears on mainland, middle-aged woman and family diagnosed with rare vampire disease. Large crack in 20-story Shanghai building wide enough for fingers, residents alarmed. Another high-level tiger falls before the third plenum, no one safe. Over 30 Falun Gong practitioners kidnapped in a single day in Shulan city, Jilin. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Real estate market collapses in first-tier cities, leaving millions of homeowners in debt. Despite expectations for a strong economic rebound post-pandemic, China's economy has continued to decline sharply, particularly in the real estate sector. Over the past few months, major cities like Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Shanghai, and Beijing have faced significant real estate challenges, with the market showing no signs of recovery. The decline in property prices raises concerns about the potential broader economic impact and the measures the CCP might take in response. In major first-tier cities, property prices have plummeted, severely affecting the middle class. For instance, a major plot in Guangzhou's financial city East was withdrawn from auction due to lack of interest, and similar incidents are becoming more frequent. Sales of land and luxury properties have drastically dropped, with prices in some areas falling by as much as 71%. Areas like Beijing's Yinjiao have seen dramatic declines in property values, transforming bustling communities into near ghost towns. This downturn poses serious questions about the future of China's urban centers and the financial stability of millions of homeowners. Senior Chinese media personality Kai Shengquan, speaking in the U.S. on Elite Forum, highlighted significant declines in China's real estate investments and funding from January to April, with key metrics like residential investment and personal mortgage loans falling sharply, around 40%. Kai noted that despite seemingly stable official figures, the reality on the ground, particularly concerning individual financial metrics, is causing widespread panic. This has prompted the Chinese government to take drastic measures in the real estate sector. Commentator Kai Shengquan emphasized that these interventions might lead to temporary regional spikes in property prices, but overall, they are insufficient to reverse the long-term trend of excessive price inflation driven by decades of overspeculation. He argued that cities like Guangzhou and Shenzhen have seen unsustainable property price increases, fueled by local governments using real estate to boost GDP. This approach has led to significant financial strain on residents, with many now defaulting on loans due to a downturn in China's capital market, highlighting a systemic risk in China's economic strategy centered on real estate. In the past, Chinese people talked about accumulating wealth, and the wealth of the average middle-class family actually came from real estate. Now, as housing prices fall, a large portion of the middle class in China will disappear. China's economy has been supported by the middle class in the past, and there are really only less than 200 million people in China with real purchasing power. These people gained a certain wealth by speculating in housing or owning multiple properties, which gave them the confidence to spend money. But now, as housing prices fall, everyone is afraid to spend money, so under these circumstances, China's future economy might face serious problems. According to Mr. Kai, real estate affects the entire industry in China, which is actually more than 100 industries, not just a simple real estate issue. It involves all aspects, almost all families. Some people might think that since they don't own a house, they don't have to worry, but it's not really like that. Suppose you are a person selling houses, and now you can't sell, your income is gone, your family income is gone, your source of income is gone, and a series of chain reactions follow, such as home renovations, appliance sales, and so on. So, the impact on China's entire economy is obvious. The imposition of a 100% U.S. tariff on Chinese electric vehicles, along with similar measures by the EU and other regions, could severely impact China's exports and overall economy, particularly affecting the real estate sector amidst a deepening overcapacity crisis. With unemployment rising and domestic consumption unlikely to offset the downturn, the economic outlook for the latter half of the year looks bleak. Commentator Kai Shinquan expresses skepticism about any significant remedial actions at the upcoming third plenary session, noting that if feasible solutions existed, they would have already been implemented. He critiques Xi Jinping's recent push to strengthen CCP leadership, suggesting it might hinder rather than help business development. Real estate market collapses in first-tier cities, leaving millions of homeowners in debt. Netizens share their struggles with shared electric bikes. The Chinese government took away people's personal electric bikes, saying it was for safety reasons, but then they brought in these shared electric bikes everywhere, and that's stirred up quite a bit of controversy. Recently, a netizen shared their experience of test riding a shared electric vehicle, describing various troubles encountered. On June 14, a netizen complained online about their experience in the Yizhuang area of Daxing District, Beijing, riding a shared electric vehicle. They mentioned that a route normally completed in 20 minutes by bicycle took 40 minutes on an electric bike. They described the shared bikes as visually appealing and new, but the experience was far from satisfactory. They faced problems from the start. Unlocking the bike required wearing a helmet, which, if not returned correctly, could result in additional charges of 15 yuan, about $2. Even after reaching a designated parking spot, the bike wouldn't lock unless the helmet was placed flat and the bike positioned perfectly upright, turning a simple ride into a complicated ordeal. Additionally, another netizen shared their experience that, even at the parking spot, the return process seems deliberately prolonged. On June 7, a netizen named Xiao Qin sees the world shared a frustrating experience with a shared electric bike. She paid 2.5 yuan, about 35 cents, for a 10-minute ride and aimed to finish in under 9 minutes. However, despite reaching the parking spot, the system failed to recognize it, even though another bike was parked nearby. After moving the bike around unsuccessfully and watching the time slip to over 10 minutes, the charge increased to 3.5 yuan, about 48 cents. After several attempts to park and being charged for extra time, she felt deliberately overcharged. Many others in the comments echoed these sentiments, sharing their own troubling experiences with shared electric bikes in various cities across China. In recent years, accidents caused by electric bikes catching fire have occurred frequently on the mainland. The Chinese authorities, citing safety, have forcibly confiscated the public's electric bikes and then vigorously promoted shared electric bikes, leading to public accusations of government business collusion and profiteering. Strange disease appears on mainland, middle-aged woman and family diagnosed with rare vampire disease. According to multiple reports from mainland media, a 52-year-old woman with the surname Lin, once a well-known salesperson in her company, constantly felt weak. Initially, she thought it was due to a lack of rest, but upon examination, she was found to have severe anemia. Iron supplements, however, did not help and her condition worsened. Lin's face and hands started turning yellow, and her overall weakness became so severe that she could hardly walk. Despite repeated checks indicating anemia, Lin could not manage her daily life and had to take extended leave from work to seek medical help. After visiting many hospitals, a doctor finally diagnosed her through genetic sequencing. Lin's FECH gene mutation confirmed she had erythropoietic protoporphyria. This rare condition is also known as vampire disease because it causes sensitivity to light, pale skin, and a deficiency of hemoglobin. This affected not only Lin but also her entire family, including her husband and 2 children, all of whom carry the gene. Porphyria, or vampire disease, has gained public attention in recent years. It is a metabolic disorder caused by a lack of enzymes in the heme biosynthetic pathway, leading to abnormally high levels of porphyrins or their precursors in the body, causing tissue damage. Patients with this condition experience itching, burning, and swelling under sunlight exposure, akin to the light sensitivity seen in mythical vampires. Symptoms of porphyria can include severe abdominal pain, vomiting, constipation, muscle pain, weakness or numbness, seizures, mental disturbances, and confusion. Most cases of porphyria are genetic, and many carriers of the gene may never develop the disease. Attacks can occur suddenly and are unpredictable, with no effective prevention. Currently, treatment is symptomatic, and patients often require long-term medication and monitoring. The rare condition known as vampire disease has triggered widespread reactions among mainland netizens. They expressed astonishment and concern over the increasing prevalence of such strange diseases. Many shared their own experiences of fatigue and weakness, highlighting how common these symptoms have become. Large crack in 20-story Shanghai building wide enough for fingers, residents alarmed. According to Shanghai TV, residents of the Songfeng Garden complex reported a deep crack between the 4th and 5th floors at the southwest corner of Building 1. Initially inconspicuous at the start of the year, the crack has significantly widened in recent months, now measuring up to 4 centimeters at its widest. The crack stretches about 5 meters long, starting from the balcony frame of a 4th-floor apartment up to the window of an apartment directly above on the 5th floor. Local residents are increasingly worried as the crack continues to grow, fearing that parts of the building's facade may soon start to fall off, especially in bad weather, if the issue is not addressed quickly. Despite the severity of the crack, the local housing authorities believe it might be linked to the stress caused by the external air conditioning units attached to the building. However, residents dispute this explanation. They argue that many apartments have their air conditioning units installed in the same orientation on various floors without any similar issues, suggesting that the air conditioners are unlikely to be the cause of the crack. The residents are currently very anxious, fearing that if the crack is not repaired promptly, it could pose a greater safety risk. However, the responsible official from the Lingyun Road Subdistrict Management Office stated that they received the residents' complaints on June 9. Upon inspection, the design unit concluded that the crack was merely in the plaster layer of the building and does not affect the structural integrity. Netizens have reacted strongly, urging that the situation be taken seriously and assessed by professionals, with comments emphasizing the need for immediate action before any possible structural failure occurs. Another high-level tiger falls before the third plenum, no one safe. In Xi Jinping's latest anti-corruption drive, Wu Yingjie, the former party secretary of the Tibet Autonomous Region, has been removed from office. On June 16, the CCP's discipline watchdog announced that Wu Yingjie is under investigation for serious violations of discipline and law. This makes him the second former provincial party secretary to face scrutiny after the 20th National Congress, following Sun Jiging of Guizhou. Notably, just days before the announcement, on June 7, Wu was involved in diplomatic activities, accompanying Wang Huning to meet with Venezuela's foreign minister. Wu Yingjie, aged 68 from Shandong, has spent his career in Tibet, serving in various educational and governmental positions. He rose through the ranks to become the party secretary of Tibet in 2016, a position he held until October 2021. During his tenure, Wu was implicated in severe human rights abuses against Falun Gong practitioners. According to Minghui website, Wu Yingjie was heavily involved in the persecution of Falun Gong practitioners during his tenure as the party secretary of Tibet from 2016 to 2021. He was implicated as one of the main perpetrators in at least 2 persecution cases. On December 9, 2022, the U.S. State Department announced sanctions against 65 individuals and entities on the eve of International Human Rights Day, including former CCP Tibet Party Secretary Wu Yingjie and the director of the Tibet Public Security Bureau, Zhang Hongba. Wu Yingjie's assets in the United States have been frozen, and he and his relatives are barred from entering the U.S. or obtaining U.S. visas. After stepping down, Wu briefly served in national roles but did not rise to higher national prominence, breaking a pattern seen with his predecessors. In March 2023, he became the director of the Culture, History, and Learning Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, CPPCC, before his recent arrest. Independent commentator Kai Shinkuan suggests that Wu's downfall may be indirectly linked to Hu Chunhua, indicating a possible wider political purge. Hu Chunhua has previously held significant positions in Inner Mongolia and Guangdong and was once seen as a potential future leader. However, since the 20th Party Congress, he has been sidelined from the core power circles, and his former colleagues and places of work are under intense scrutiny. Kai notes that Wu Yingjie and Hu Chunhua had intersected paths early in their careers and maintained connections over the years. This investigation might reflect Xi Jinping's ongoing efforts to consolidate power by removing potential rivals and their networks, signaling no one is safe in the ongoing political shakeup. Over 30 Falun Gong practitioners kidnapped in a single day in Shulan City, Jilin. On June 5, the Public Security Bureau's Political Security, National Security Detachment, along with police stations from Beijing, Jishu, Fate, and Taidong, deployed a large number of police officers in Shulan City, Jilin Province. They broke into homes and kidnapped over 30 Falun Gong practitioners. According to Minghui website, here are some of the circumstances regarding the Falun Gong practitioners kidnapped in Shulan City. On June 5, more than 10 police officers broke into the home of Falun Gong practitioner Feng Yuqiu, who was then kidnapped and taken to the Beijing police station. The police illegally raided the home and also confiscated a printer belonging to Feng Yuqiu's daughter, a tutor, used for printing study materials for her students. The daughter's attempts to reclaim it from the Beijing police station were refused, and it has not been returned to date. Feng Yuqiu was released on bail due to health reasons. On the same day, another Falun Gong practitioner with the surname Zheng was kidnapped at Feng Yuqiu's home and taken to Jilin. Ren Xiaojie was kidnapped at Feng Yuqiu's home but has now returned. Another 58-year-old lady who was visiting Feng Yuqiu's home for the first time was also kidnapped. On the morning of June 5, Li Beirong, 77 years old, Xu Yujun, Li Shuling, and Gui Qingfen were kidnapped and taken to the police station. It is known that they had been under surveillance by CCTV for a long time. The next day, Li Beirong, Li Shuling, and Mrs. Gu were returned home. Xu Yujun's situation is still under investigation. On June 5, an elderly male Falun Gong practitioner from Jinma Town, Sister Xia from near Yuzhai, Zhao Shuhua, Wang Zhilan, and Zhang Zhongying were kidnapped. As of the morning of June 6, Zhang Zhongying was taken away. His situation is still under investigation. Other Falun Gong practitioners are being illegally detained at Shulan's Nanshan. On June 5, Su Xiaolan was kidnapped and illegally detained for 15 days. At around 6 p.m. on June 5, Chen Yuhui was kidnapped while visiting another Falun Gong practitioner's home and suffered an illegal home raid and was detained for 15 days. Falun Gong is a cultivation practice of Buddhism based on the principles of truthfulness, compassion, tolerance, including 5 sets of exercises, with miraculous effects on disease elimination and health improvement. Before 1999, internal statistics from the Ministry of Public Security of the CCP showed that there were between 70 million to 100 million Falun Gong practitioners. In 1999, former CCP leader Jiang Zemin, out of jealousy and fear that the number of Falun Gong practitioners exceeded CCP members, ordered a sweeping crackdown. This persecution has continued to this day. For 25 years, the international community's condemnation of the CCP's persecution of Falun Gong has been unceasing. On June 14, U.S. Congresswoman Michelle Steele spoke to the Epoch Times about the widespread kidnapping of Falun Gong practitioners in Shulan, Jilin, and called for these kidnappings to stop. She criticized the CCP for illegally kidnapping citizens and even setting up police stations in people's homes, which she found appalling. She stressed the need to end these serious violations. Reggie Littlejohn, who leads the organization Women's Rights Without Frontiers, also spoke out in the same interview. She described the CCP's actions as desperate measures against believers, particularly Falun Gong practitioners, to the extent of imprisoning them, kidnapping, and possibly even harvesting their organs. She urged the CCP to stop its persecution of all believers. Don't forget to comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. If you find the information helpful, please share this video with a friend to watch together. This will be a great source of motivation for our team to produce more and more quality and reliable videos. And also don't forget to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths. Thank you for tuning in.